All right, welcome back. During the hearing on the stray dog case, the Supreme Court has made it clear that the matter is not about eliminating dogs, but about ensuring strict enforcement of existing laws, particularly the animal birth control framework. The bench flagged serious gaps in implementation by civic bodies and underlined that public safety cannot be compromised due to administrative lapses. The court also highlighted the need to distinguish stray dogs from pets, noting the territorial nature of strays. Overall, the emphasis remained on governance failure rather than policy absence. And at the same time, the bench made strong observations on human animal interaction, noting that dogs can sense human fear, which may trigger aggressive responses. The court flagged the unpredictable behavior of stray dogs in crowded public spaces, stressing that fear, panic, or nervous reactions heighten risks. The bench indicated that the crux of the matter remained proper enforcement of the ABC rules rather than their dilution or abandonment. And while the hearing will resume on the 9th of January, the main question that remains unanswered is, will we find a humane, compassionate solution that would ensure that animal rights are not violated? Let's discuss this with our guest. Joining us on the program is Manavi Rai, animal activist, Advocate Gurmukh Singh Arora, lawyer Supreme Court, is also with us on the show. Divyam Khera, lawyer Supreme Court, also joins us on the program to talk more about this. Thank you everyone for being here. Manvi, I'll begin with you. I hope you can hear me. Manvi, I can't hear you. Perhaps you're muted at this point in time, but I want to begin. Yeah, okay, I can hear you now.
Okay.
All right. What do you, first of all, what do you make of this observation by the Supreme Court? And this, of course, it's important to understand there are experts, there are people who understand the situation. And from what I know in my limited knowledge when it comes to the ABC rules, the protocols, as well as the dangers of having stray dogs on the streets, one thing's very, very clear. You can come up with suggestions to do away with them or take care of them. But the fact of the matter is, when infrastructure is in question about where to keep these dogs safely and in a healthy environment, our civic bodies have failed us tremendously. Forget about dogs, they have failed humans too.
Yes. Absolutely. From yesterday, the way they have listened to the arguments of our lawyers on the 7th, on today, and, there's a very positive change, and they are very accepting of the fact. And, now the way they are reacting to the whole situation, it almost seems like that I'm glad that this case has come up, and now they are looking into the real matter instead of blaming the dogs. We all animal lovers agree as well that public safety and animal welfare should go hand in hand. And for the longest time, we've had all the policies, we had the program in place, but it was never implemented. And there was, huge corruption, bureaucracy in this as well. And hopefully now they are going to come out with an order that is going to fix the situation, not just for animals, but for humans.
Gurmukh, what's your stance on what's going on over here? This is a very tight rope that is being walked. I understand that the safety and security of civilians when it comes to a problem like stray dogs is to be taken very, very seriously. Though this may be out of context, we are the 4th largest economy in the world. There is an image, there is a civic ecosystem that India needs to come up with when it comes to stray dogs. It's not happened. It's all because of the way this problem has been dealt with. What are your thoughts on what's going on over here?
So before I start, I just want to say that my stance over this issue is that I am myself a dog lover. But on the other hand, I am also a very responsible citizen. And being a lawyer in the profession, I think I know what the deep nuances to this issue are. So first of all, the legal jurisprudence to this issue is revolving around the first order of 11th of August, which the Supreme Court ordered. Initially, the order was to vaccinate, sterilize, and send all the dogs to the shelter homes. Now, this issue has been again reiterated, and people have turned up, dog lovers as well, and I would say dog haters as well. Now this issue has come up before the court, and the court is now trying to draw a balance between both the parties and also making sure that the civic sense in the country prevails. See, the issue which I personally think today is that the court has taken into cognizance that the ABC rules, which are the landmark that can solve this issue, are not properly implemented by the government bodies. Now, the court has also seen that if all the stray dogs are after vaccination and of course sterilization are sent to shelter homes, no one knows in what conditions those shelter homes or I would say those jails are. And on the other hand, no one considers that what kind of diseases can transfer from one dog to the another dog and how this issue can be enlarged. But on the other hand, the court has also taken into cognizance of this fact that yes, these dogs after sterilization and vaccination can be sent to their native place as well. Now, the only issue which I think the dog lovers and the dog haters would agree on, that the dogs which should be only considered at this point in time should be the ones who bite without any provocation. I don't think so there would be any dog lover who would be in favor that any dog who is biting humans or any other individual without provocation should not be sheltered. Now, this is the first initial part of the problem. Now, the civic sense of judiciary is trying to prevail over this issue and is making sure that first of all the judicial bodies, all the governing bodies should file a reply at this moment. Even the amicus, who appeared before the Honorable Supreme Court today, said that the reply of most of the parties are not on record. Now, unless this reply comes on record, it would not be, justifiable by the court to give any, order on this aspect. But the thing which I personally think should be considered by the Honorable Court is that this is not an issue which only, ends at dogs, because dogs are also animals. The court is also considering this issue, that if there are several policies or several limitations which are attracted towards, if they frame some policies which will only attract dogs, then dogs also comes under the category of animals. Now, if tomorrow I say I don't love a dog, but I love a buffalo or I love a cat or anyone else, the court would, not tomorrow, hear another judgment or another petition which would be filed by a cat lover or a buffalo lover. The court wants to make this issue and resolve this issue in consent of all the animals, so that the judicial sense would prevail over this issue, so that neither humans are getting hurt in the longer time, nor the emotions of the animal lovers are getting hurt.
Okay. Divyam, how do you look at this issue? This has been long standing. Is it going to be a possibility that there will be a middle ground that is achieved, where the sympathetic angle towards animals is considered, as well as the safety and norms and rights of citizens, who want to in fact walk around freely without the fear of being bitten by dogs, is also upheld?
The thing is that what we are facing today with regard to dogs or any man-animal conflict, whether it's nilgais, whether it's leopards or anything, it's a social issue. In a country like India, we are the 7th largest country in the world. We are 812 million acres of land with 140 crore people, second largest population in the world. So for any social issue, whether it's dogs, whether it's cats, or whether it's even rapes for that matter, nothing can be done overnight. While I appreciate the enthusiasm of some people and even our authorities to deal with this situation overnight, the only solution for a social issue like this is long term. Now, the legislature has already given us the solutions. The ABC rules are those rules that have been endorsed by the WHO. ABC rules are effectively which say that one needs to capture, neuter, vaccinate, and release the animal. There are successful stories across the world where this program has got the dog population in less than 10%. But today, if we feel like, oh, let's just within 1 week we can get rid of crores and lakhs of dogs, that is not the solution. The only solution is a scientific one. And any which way, there are no shelters in this country apart from a very few shelters, and those are in pathetic conditions. We have seen how the government hospitals function, the midday meal scams over the years we have seen. And these are anyway voiceless beings. So, to endorse shelters is just another corruption making scheme. We need to, keep in mind the fact that we had ABC rules 2001. And then subsequently, we had ABC rules 2023 also. What is ABC rules? Animal birth control rules, which actually endorse the sterilization program. So my question is and we've put RTIs, the municipalities say they have done lakhs of sterilizations over the years. Since 2001 up until 2022 also, before the ABC rules 2023, let's say even in those 22 years, had municipalities done, even let's just take Delhi for example, had they done the lakhs of sterilizations they claim to be done, there would be absolutely no dogs on the streets today. So for any social issue, and today a very good argument was raised in the Honorable Court that at the end of the day, legislation is there. The Honorable Courts can help in interpreting it, help in the execution of it. What we are standing today is the failure of the execution of the legislation. So it's not that something new needs to come out of it. These are scientific rules backed by research and science. And it's not like a layman or whether you or I, people who don't have the domain.
Divyam, what about the role of agencies? What about the role of the government appointed committees who have for decades known that the population of dogs is only likely to increase in our country, and yet the infrastructure around them has not developed. Who is to blame for that?
It's not that the dog population will only increase. I'll give you an example of my area. I stay in central Delhi. There were about 800 dogs in the place that I live in. We got most of them sterilized. Now the population is less than 400 in just a matter of 8 years. So the population has actually come down 50% in 8 years, because one needs to understand, once all the dogs are sterilized, some of them will naturally die in car accidents, because every 15 minutes a human dies in India in car accidents, let alone animals. They'd probably die in multiple figures. Then there's weather conditions that persist, and animals are not able to make it. So had these rules been followed, and that's exactly we request the courts to ensure that the mechanism that is in place. We don't need a new mechanism. We need the mechanism that is already in place, the rules that are already in place to be followed, and the municipalities to be forced to do them. These are scientific rules. These are not some layman rules made up over a coffee. These are research-backed rules, and that's why it is. Like for example, I'll give you an example. If you if you just randomly pick dogs and keep them in shelters, even if there is one rabid dog, or even if there is one dog that has distemper, then you are literally opening up, Pandora of zoonotic diseases. And if, in fact, if you follow the ABC rules, you pick the dogs, you sterilize them, you vaccinate them, you send them back, at least you know a head count of which dogs are vaccinated in a colony.
Okay.
Today, where we are, effectively, this is a failure of the municipality. Not that we need some new legislation, and any which way, for a country like India, no social issue can be dealt with an overnight solution.
But Manvi Rai, this is not an overnight problem. This is something that we all grew up watching and observing. I'm not saying that it's a menace, but it is something that we have come to terms with, that dogs and stray dogs are a part, of civic society and the fabric of India's, cultural existence as well. And yet, without them biting or them being a social, hazard in terms of the safety and health of the people, it's the responsibility of the government to come up with shelters, to come up with avenues for any eventualities and contingency, and that has not been done.
Absolutely. And, you know, I would not say that I'm a dog lover. I'm actually a life lover. It's not that I've just been saving dogs. It's any and every animal, whether it's snakes, jackal. We have to understand that, we are caretakers of this nature, of environment. And as Divyam said, there we have ABC rules. We've had the program, and there's been corruption all throughout in this program. In fact, there's not enough infrastructure. There are no ambulances for these. And when we have a rabies case,
And
when
Manvi,
some,
I've seen the animal shelters. I've seen those horrible, horrific videos
there are
of
hellholes,
where these
yes.
animals are kept. They're worse than concentration camps.
Exactly. So, and when you have a rabies case as well, the people who are catching them or they are going to isolate them, what is the procedure for them? There has never been a training center for the team, these people as well, the catchers. What should be done once you have a rabies case? Nothing was implemented in our country. And the ABC rules came out in 2001. And I'm glad that now the courts are questioning what did the civic bodies, what did the municipalities do, because the funding was there. And let's talk about the villages. India is a rural country as well. There is nothing, there is no program in place in these the panchayats are not even aware that such a program exists. So instead of blaming the animal, now the courts are looking at the whole thing. They're listening to our lawyers and they understand. And as Divyam said, this is not an overnight thing. And had we done this, lawfully, diligently, religiously, the World Health Organization website very clearly says that India would have been rabies free by 2030. And, the population would have been negligent. I have been working in this field only for the last 5.5 years, and I look after 9 villages. But the very first village that I adopted in 5 years, in the last 2 years, not a single puppy, not a single rabies case in the last 3 years in this entire village. The human dog conflict is zero. People are happy. They're able to follow their dharma. Our dharma of पहली रोटी गाय की और आखिरी रोटी कुत्ते की, पता नहीं किस रूप में नारायण मिल जाएंगे. So why not put ABC program in place, have a monitoring committee on that. They should be accountable, and let's not let go of our culture, our dharma, and let's become a real superpower. If Netherlands can do it, Bhutan can do it, Romania can do it, and why go outside the country? When Lucknow can achieve it, Goa can achieve it, Jaipur can achieve it, what is stopping us? Corruption? Absolutely.
You're absolutely right. And that is the last nail in the coffin. It's the corruption. It's the mismanagement of funds, and more so, the mismanagement of intentions and aspirations of the common man that are at stake here. Well, we've run out of time. Appreciate everybody who joined in and weighed in on this important matter coming in today. We take a short break. We'll be right back.